I consent to being recorded, and I'd love to have this conversation with you. So,
All right, man. Cool. Thank you. All right. So I only ask one set question in the beginning, and it's what is your
okay.
name, and tell us a little about yourself.
Okay, my name is Austin. I go by AJ. I'm a local hip hop artist in the Cairo, Georgia area. Probably shouldn't have said Cairo. I don't care. Uh,
It's okay.
and
It's
I mean,
okay.
I'm a
Yeah, you can say anything you want. This is just like you
all
being
right,
you. You know what I mean?
all right. I'm a redneck, of course. It's probably pretty obvious to tell. I'm from Georgia, as I said. I was raised in a small town. Bit of a nerd as well. So that's a little bit about me.
So what do you mean by I would say you're the first redneck on my channel. What do you mean by that?
Okay, well, I mean, I was born in the backwoods, middle of nowhere. Takes me 30 minutes to get to the nearest town type deal. I live out here, and I mean, I just drank a lot, smoke, kind of smoke, and we party a lot. Us rednecks are famous for the hold my beer line, and I do a lot of hunting, fishing type of stuff. I mean, if you look under the hood of my car, it's nothing but fucking duct tape.
Wow, really? Do you really know how to work your car and stuff like mechanics and everything?
Like everything, it's rigged to hell. I'm surprised it runs with how much I have it rigged right now.
God, dude, that is such like a completely different world from me. Like I like grew up near New York City and like in being near Sarasota and the beach. Like I've always lived kind of near a city. Um,
Okay.
would you ever be interested in moving to a city? Or are you like really are you happy? Like yeah. So tell
So
yeah.
the biggest city I've ever been to was Atlanta, and I hated every second of it. There was too many people. It smelled like piss,
Hmm.
and I mean, nobody was nice. I'm used to like Southern hospitality. You didn't see that in Atlanta. People would pass you by, didn't care, didn't give a shit about you. Down here, most of us would take a shirt off the back literally and give it to you if you need it. So, like, the big city was like shell shock, culture change. I couldn't handle it. I don't think I would ever be interested in seriously moving to a big city. Visiting every once in a while, maybe.
Yeah. What is school like where you are in kind of like the rural, you know, rural area where there aren't many people? Like how do you think it's different from how you see it in the movies and on TV?
Okay. Well, so I was what they called a trouble child, and I was in alternative school, if you know what that is. They call it Crossroads down here. There was about 50 of us in this. So we went to the main campus, but there was a building off the main campus that we went to. Like it was on the main campus, but a separate building for the bad kids who got caught smoking it on the property or doing fighting or whatever.
Hmm.
And we like we were singled out a lot. We were given basically we were doomed to fail from the start, as that's the way the school system looked at it. If you didn't
Mm.
have good grades around here, that's usually where you ended up at. And also, if you weren't on the football team, the wrestling team, or if you weren't something like that, you were going to get picked on.
Hmm.
And we were not allowed the privilege to be on any kind of teams because we got in trouble and stuff like that. I was on the wrestling team, and actually the reason I went to Crossroads because I got caught juicing
What is juicing?
steroids,
Oh, okay. Why did you jump on steroids?
So when I first started wrestling, I sucked. I couldn't win. I couldn't win to save my life. And one of the seniors, I was a freshman at the time. One of the seniors pulled me to the side and told me about juicing, what it was about. And it was about 30 minutes before my match. He took that needle, put it in my ass, and taught me how to do it. And he said one thing as I walked out there: kill him. Is what he told me. And I went out there. I kept running that through my mind, and my God, the adrenaline rush I got, and like the steroids, the testosterone pumping through my veins. I just like blacked out. I won, and ever since then it was a rush because it's like it's more than just a body high or a mind high. It's like the craziest high I've ever had was an adrenaline rush through juice
Wow.
and complete dominance. So yeah.
So you were doing that for how long were you doing steroids before you were caught?
About the middle of my sophomore year, and my coach walked in and seen it, and he proceeded to tell me I was a nobody, I was nothing. The only reason I was good at wrestling was because of juice, which was true. I'm not gonna lie. And he kicked me off the team. Then the cops got involved, and they didn't do nothing. The cops just were like, you can either expel them or put them in the alternative school. So they put me in the alternative.
Oh, that's interesting. What about your family? Like, do you have a big family? Are your parents in the picture and around and stuff?
Interesting you ask that. So my father, right now, he's in prison because he was running a meth lab.
Wow.
And my biological mother, she's somewhere in Tennessee. I'm not too sure where. And my brothers and sisters are with her. I live with my grandmother. My grandmother adopted me when I was 3 because my mother was 13 when she had me and couldn't take care of me properly. So
Wow. What a life, man. Dude, if you wrote a book, that would be a best-selling book.
I've
Um,
thought about it.
yeah, well, you should think more about it because yeah, man, that'd be on the shelves for sure. Like
Okay.
for like I have just so many questions. So like um what is the drug situation like down where, or I guess in my situation, like up where
Okay.
you are? Like what is the culture like with drugs?
Okay, so my hometown, Cairo, my God, don't come to Cairo. It's not worth it. There is meth everywhere. I'm talking about we are in the middle of a meth pandemic. Like like 10 like I'd say about 5 years ago, it was difficult to find meth and stuff. But I don't know what happened. It just flooded the streets of Cairo, and I don't care who you are. You can just walk into Cairo. All you need is $50 and the intent to want meth, and you're gonna find it. You ask 2 3 people, somebody's gonna tell you where to go get it from or sell it to you right then and there.
So why? So this is part of like the opioid epidemic and like so why is this happening? Why is this happening? 'Cause I think that this is pretty prominent and prevalent like throughout our whole country in rural areas. Like why do you think that is?
Well, I honestly think it's a money thing. That's why a lot of these people are selling and they make it because a lot of people like me had no education, dropped out, at some point during high school, and they feel trapped. They don't know what to do. They'll resort to selling drugs. And, it'll start out selling a little bit of weed, some pills. It'll start out small time. And for those who don't get caught within the first couple of years, they graduate, they start selling more. And as it becomes more available, it, you know, it just kind of skyrockets,
And
especially down here.
if there aren't any other good paying jobs in the area, then like if you're going to make a living, if you want to like succeed, I guess that's one avenue, right? Is to
Yeah, but that's the funny thing. There's several well-paying jobs here. Construction, for example. I worked at a flea market for years, and I made decent money at the flea market. I wasn't complaining. And there's construction. There's a lot of stuff down here, and something else. Some people are just, especially down here, they feel like they're entitled to not have to work these 9 to 5s. They feel like they can do what they want and sell harder drugs. Which, okay, if you're selling weed or something, fine. I really don't care. You're selling weed or psychedelics, I might go buy from you. But like these harder drugs, I can't tell you exactly why, but especially these rural areas, like you said, it's very common now. I mean, they refer to it down here as the white man's cocaine or the white man's crack.
interesting. Well, and actually, that's an interesting transition because, like, in the kind of media bubbles that we all kind of live in, we hear that people in rural areas tend to not support like movements like the Black Lives Matter movement and stuff. And what are your thoughts on all of that? And also with Trump, I'd be interested in hearing your perspective.
Okay, so most of us Southern people, most people raised the way I was and lived the kind of life I did, they end up supporting Trump. It just happens. A lot of people view Trump and they like his ideals. And yeah, there's a lot of racist people in the South. I'm not going to lie to you, but there's also a lot of honest to God, love everybody people here. It's a wide spectrum. Like my next door neighbor, he's a black man. Next door neighbor over there is a Mexican. And I mean, okay, so here's a good way to put it.
Just be honest, because like this is, I mean, the whole reason I'm doing this channel is to hear like the honest opinions of people, and like I really value your opinion and your experience, and the only way that we learn from each other is if we're honest and open. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
yeah, so just be yourself, and don't be afraid to put yourself out there.
So let me put it in this perspective. So there's a lot of like let's look at the hood for a second. They can go weeks, months, a long time without ever seeing a white person. They're not used to it. The same thing down here in the trailer parks and the areas we live. You don't see a lot of. I don't know the politically correct term. Colored. I want to be politically correct as possible here, but you don't see a lot of it down here. But they are. I mean, and a lot of Southern people, they were brought up by, older, like my grandparents were highly racist. My grandparents were, my great grandmother, I love her to death, but she was born back in the 40s. And I'm sure things were a lot different back then. She didn't like Mexicans, black people. If you weren't white, she hated you. And I don't feel that way personally. My grandmother, the one who raises me, she don't feel that way either, but she has a lot of people down here, not necessarily racist, but some people don't believe in interracial marriages. They see it as wrong. That's something you see down here a lot. And yeah, a lot of people were raised by racist parents down here because the South is a racist place. I'm not going to lie to you. There's good honest people, there's racist people, but yeah, that's about what I can tell you on that one.
Interesting. Why do you think Trump is more popular like where you are than in other places?
His views and the way he talks and things, he does connect. He does like southern men seem to resonate with him for some reason. I can see the appeal in some ways, and I can also see like me personally, I like Trump and I dislike Trump. I like certain things he does and dislike certain things he does.
Could I ask you like what you like about him and what you don't support about him?
Okay, I like, he's a businessman. That's what he did before he did any of this, and he's very knowledgeable. He knows what he's doing as far as running a country or the economy wise. He knows what he's doing to create jobs, the economy, that aspect. I don't believe the borders should be closed. I don't support that. And I will admit he is racist and sexist. At least to some of to my knowledge, to things I've heard and seen.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah. Wow. Man, I don't know. I really appreciate your perspective and just how open you are about this stuff.
Actually, let me tell you this. This just came to me. So the other day, I was in Walmart getting some worms to go fishing, and this other Southern guy, he was white, talking to me, and he wanted to talk about the George Floyd incident. And this is an example of Southern white people being racist just to be racist. He was talking to me about it, telling me his point of view, and he was agreeing, saying the cops should not be arrested, is what he was saying. He said that we didn't see the whole story. I'm like, and me personally, I don't care what the whole story was. No officer is trained to do what that officer did. He should be arrested and charged formally. But he was going on and on about this. He was using some very racial words. I'm reading between the lines there.
Yeah.
Right there in front of people in Walmart. He didn't care what people heard him or nothing. And that's just an example of white trash, because white trash is a thing, and very prevalent out here. Like, rednecks are not white trash, and white trash are not rednecks, but we do seem to get lumped into the same category.
That's fascinating. That is fascinating, because I bet you, like, so many people would say they're the same thing. But like rednecks, you would say, are just kind of people who live kind of outside of, like, kind of rural living, whereas like white trash are people who are like disrespectful of others. Is that kind of?
Yeah, so someone like me, we work our asses off every day. I mean, of course, we like to get drunk, drink our whiskey. That's part of it too.
I think
And
that's a lot of people, yeah.
and of course, like, I have a field, I have
Oh, come on. Don't. No way. Oh my god, are you kidding me? Oh, how did he just fucking go? Oh no, that guy was so cool. AJ, the redneck. He was just talking about how rednecks work their asses off every day and they like their whiskey. And then he was going to talk about white trash. Interesting, the difference between rednecks and white trash. See, this is the stuff that if we just sit down and listen to other people from different perspectives and around the world, like, I mean, you cannot get this kind of education anywhere else. I don't think. I really don't think. Okay, he has my YouTube channel name, and hopefully he'll reach out, and I don't know. Okay, thanks everyone. Hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did.